Hello and welcome to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Nina Adio, a social media marketing expert specific to the wedding industry. On this show, I discuss tips to help you DIY your social media, as well as getting the confidence and income to outsource it. Thank you for allowing this episode to come through on your Bluetooth, your car radio, wherever it may be you're listening from today. Now, let's take your wedding business to the next level. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. I am, as always, very grateful to have you here. We are in the midst of our 30 days of episode blast or boost or whatever you want to call it. And yesterday we had one of my favorite episodes of the podcast so far. It was about maintaining self-worth while on social media. It's a really important episode because the struggle is real for all of us, whether you're on social media personally or professionally. So you can go back to episode 42 to listen to that one. Today I'm going to be talking about something I don't always talk about on this show, is how we can use digital listings to get more wedding leads. So I am talking about sites like the Knot and WeddingWire specifically. How can we use these national digital listings to benefit us? And it goes beyond just having people contact you from there, because I think to get the most out of these sites, it goes a bit beyond them being a lead source, because we know the leads coming from there aren't always consistent, but there is a lot of value you can get from these sites. So that's what I want to talk about today. But before I do that, I want to remind you that today is the day that my presentation for the Book More Wedding Summit goes live. It's live at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you can go to the show notes to get your free ticket to that, or you can go to idoweddingmarketing.com or I Do Wedding Marketing on Instagram, and I will have the link up there. Today is the last day that you can access it for free. Otherwise, you're going to need to purchase the all access pass in order to access that presentation. And what I'm going to be speaking about is how to establish experience when you're just getting started. On this day as well, we have Booking Weddings and Selling with Your Team by Ashley Ebert, Packages and Pricing Built for Profit, plus an alternative to offering discounts by Carissa Cruzy, Love Them or Hate Them, How to Make Reviews Work for You with Bethel Nathan, 3 Big Website Mistakes That Are Costing You Bookings with Heidi Thompson, YouTube for Wedding Pros, How to Book More Couples Using Video, and Key Strategies to Reach Today's Couples on Any Device with Jordan Kentris. So to access any of these, today is the last day to do it for free. Otherwise, you've got to purchase that all access pass, which is still an incredible value. So head over to the show notes or to my Instagram to get that link. Now let's get to it. The right way to use digital listing sites to get attention onto your wedding business. So when you are signing up for these sites, the first thing that is important about these sites and the most value they're offering you, in my opinion, is through their ranking. When you Google your area, if you type in Memphis wedding venues, Long Island wedding photographers, whatever it is you're looking up, very often the first 2 non-paid for, so non-advertised listings are for the Knot and WeddingWire. I know I myself use these listings as a who's who when I'm looking into a new area or trying to understand and really put my pulse on what's going on in this area's wedding market. Now, as a wedding vendor listing on here, the downside of that is you're not the only one who is listed on it. So, what do you do when you're listed on it to start and get that attention? These are some of the other things we're going to get into. But first, I want to just share that the first and biggest benefit I find to these sites is the ranking that you're going to receive from it when people search on Google. Now, for example, I just put in a town in my home area, and there are 113 wedding venues here. So just being listed on this site is in no way enough. What you have to do from there is make your venue or your listing for what you offer stand out. So I'm looking at the venue page right now. So that's why I'm using venues as an example. The first thing you want to do to stand out is, of course, pick the best type of photo that translates. So looking through, you really see an assortment of photos that people are picking, but rather than focusing on a photo that is primarily of a bride and groom, you also want to make sure you have a photo that showcases your venue. There are some of these photos where the couple they've selected really could be anywhere. All I see is, a green hedge in the background. That doesn't help me to see, while looking at 113 other pages, what makes yours different. So some of these venues have selected images that immediately show to me, okay, this is a hardwood ballroom type of wedding, or this one is on the beach and it has a great view. This one is at an old mansion. So showing your setting as a venue will help to set you apart. Let me look into another category as well, and we'll kind of go into those header images live together. All right, so now I'm looking at the wedding planners category. Now it still has a lot. Gosh, view all 128, right? So how are you going to set yourself aside from that? Well, first off, the ones that I'm looking at and I'm thinking, okay, I'd want to click you, are ones who have photos that do not look like stock photos. So that's a big help. And ones that have kind of extravagant decor or decorations that are included within it. Why? Because if I'm needing a wedding planner, it's because I want somebody to connect the dots of my vision. So seeing a photo with a bit of a high end design helps me to kind of see this wedding planner style and capability and what they can do, as opposed to the photos that kind of just show a couple up close or a pair of wedding rings. I can't really tell what they're capable of just by looking at that. But the next important thing that people are looking for after these photos, and the way you can really make the most out of these digital listing sites, is to use them to curate reviews. That is what is going to set you aside from anybody else, is having the best reviews. There are venues on here that have 185 reviews. That's one I'm looking at right up front. 185. Let's see. Oh, 247. 247. That's a lot. 230. Let's see what's gonna beat it on this on this page. If 267. All right, let's quick click that one. That's gonna be the review number to beat. And also for wedding planners, think the most I'm seeing here is 88. Imagine having 88 reviews for your business. That's how you know that this business is using a strategy for it. But having these reviews, so I'm looking at the venue that has over 200 reviews. And so far, I'm seeing all 5 stars within the past year, which is amazing. And now let me look at the planner. I'm kind of doing a live audit with you guys, if you will. Great. So these are all great too. So to me, this means that they have a funnel within their business and a knowledge of who to follow up with for the leads. If you had a good experience with somebody, you should absolutely have a sequence of contacting them for a review. And very often, people who had a good experience do want to review you. They know that what the hospitality industry has been through in these past 2 years, and they want to help out, especially if you gave them the best day ever. So we can go into a separate episode where we go into the full on review sequence process. But some things to do is if they message you, even sometimes if I post a photo, they'll message on Instagram saying how great it was, or they'll send an email. After they initiate that, ask them for the review, say how much it helps you, and very often they will do it. Some companies do offer incentives, such as if you write a review, we'll give you, a Starbucks gift card. That's all up to you. But the important thing is that's what people are seeing when they come onto the Knot or to Wedding Wire or to any listing site that features review. That will set you apart from other people, especially if these good reviews are good. So not only does it say how many reviews you have when they log onto the page, it also says what your average is. So right away, I can see that one venue has an average of 5 stars over 138 ratings. And the next venue has an average of 3.6, which is 29 ratings. So already you're kind of in a position where you want to fill those gaps and bring yourself up if you're in the situation of not having great reviews. Maybe you want to offer an incentive for a short period to get those reviews up to balance out your page versus those other pages. Reviews are really important on these sites because this is the place where people are going for wedding reviews. That is just the truth. People will go to your Facebook and may, as consequence of being on there, end up seeing your reviews on Facebook, but they're not going to Facebook first when it's time to look for a wedding vendor's reviews. They are going onto a page like the Knot or Wedding Wire if they're not already hearing about you in a Facebook group or through a friend or through somebody else. And what having these reviews and these good photos do is they help turn these leads from the Knot into a very sporadic lead into somebody who's likely to make an appointment. So very often the criticism that we have with these sites is that people are contacting you with no intention really of coming in. They kind of do a mass contact of everybody, wait to see what everybody's prices are, hold on to it, kind of hoard it, and then don't really do anything with it. But if you're able to sell them in your photos and on your reviews of what it is that you offer, it's making that contact sequence a little warmer each time you get them to see that and you get them a bit more invested. Alternatively, people use the Knot and Wedding Wire not only to see your portfolio through the gallery of images. So, not just your profile image is important, but all of the images that you put in your gallery is important. And beyond that, the next piece that is really important is your social or are your social media links. So they leave a place for you to put your Instagram, your Facebook, your website, Pinterest, TikTok. I don't know if TikTok's on there, but you get what I'm saying. So here's the thing, okay? Let's say I see this with wedding professional all the time. They made a Twitter in 2011. They have not tweeted since then. They put the Twitter on their website. They put the Twitter on the not. You don't need to put if you're not updating Twitter, don't put Twitter. All right, just put the stuff where you were updating. Because very often I will, as somebody looking into a venue, and I know brides do this too, I will click on the profile on the Knot. I will click the Instagram, and the Instagram is where I'm getting a real idea of what things look like, a real idea of who's having weddings there, who's having events there, what these events look like. And then I may contact them from Instagram or from their website from there. So not all the contacts you are getting from the Knot are showing up in that Knot contact form. Now, if you are more familiar with using your website to track this, you'll see how many people click your website from the Knot and then go to the contact form. So it's more than you think, and it's a different type of shopper than the ones who send those mass contact forms. So that's something to look out for when you're looking at your website analytics. Whew, okay, let's stop. Let's breathe for a second. If you've been listening to this podcast for a bit, then you know that I do these without a script, and I'm sure it's quite obvious. And just kind of just go on the fly and say what's coming to my mind as it comes. So every now and then we just got to stop and go, do it with me. What I really want to stress with this, though, is that I do feel that there is a place for these sites. Do I feel it should be your sole marketing strategy, your only marketing strategy, that you have to have it, that there's no way without it? No, I don't. But I think there is a lot of benefit to being on it. I think it's all a matter of what you can afford in your budget. If you're in a place like a lot of these venues that I'm looking at have existed for, decades, and this is something that's already built into their budget, and for them, it's a no brainer. If you're a newer business, a smaller business, and so forth, it may be more of a commitment. And maybe it's something you invest in as you're establishing yourself those first 3 years of business, let's say. And then you build it up enough where you're like, okay, okay, let's do this. So I got I got so distracted looking at some of these photos for venues. Like I don't know if the venue put up this photo or what, but oh my god, some of these are so old. I'm looking at one of the venues that I'm actually going to message them and ask if this was on purpose, because I don't even know how they got there. Really very alarmed. But sorry, this all happens as a part of my live recording. So maybe now is a good time to remind you that the I Do Wedding Marketing podcast is brought to you by the Weddingpreneurs Content Club. In the Weddingpreneurs Content Club by Carissa Cruzy Weddings, you will receive social media directive, templates, and tips directly to your inbox each month. So what I want to stress about that is you're not receiving 30 templates and captions that you download once and that's it. You're getting 30 more each month, plus story templates, Reels templates, blog article templates, pre written email newsletters. So you can just kind of fill in the blank to your marketing. So, this is a great strategy for people who are not yet ready to outsource a full service marketing manager such as myself. You can do something like this as you start to build up your revenue before you can outsource this. So, if you want to check out the Weddingpreneurs Content Club, you can visit idoweddingmarketing.com/sponsors or go to the show notes. And this starts at as low as $37 a month, or you can buy it all up front annually for $347. Guys, come on. All you have to do is book one wedding off of that, and you've like made your money back times 30. So that is so cool, and I hope you will check that out. It's going to be linked in the show notes below. Let's summarize what I've been talking about in regards to these digital listing sites. You're going to be able to really get your value off of these sites if you use the best photos possible. Okay, that means high resolution, professional photos. I know sometimes you are really tempted to show off that you have a champagne wall and the only photo you have is an old pixelated cell phone photo. Don't do it. Okay, just use the best photos possible. They will see those other features when they go to your Instagram, but they're not even going to get there if the first photo they see does not represent a high value wedding service. These are high price points, which is why you really have to have a professional image, especially for a listing at these prices. All right. You're spending a lot of money on these listings. Let your photos show it. Next, in order to take advantage of these listing sites, is you want to use it as a review source. You want to get the reviews on here because these are the reviews that people are going to trust. They know it's not the best of the best reviews that you pulled for your website. Yes, it's great to have reviews on your website. People will appreciate it. But here, when they read a 5-star review, they know that that 5-star review is true. Next, you want to focus on your listing itself, your Facebook, your Instagram link, your website link, your phone number. You want to make sure all that information is correct. You will not believe how many times I click an Instagram link from the Knot or WeddingWire and the link is wrong. It happens all of the time. That is a waste of your money because you are paying to be on this site and you're paying to get traffic to your other sites, to your sales funnels. So if your links aren't working, then you're wasting your money. Check your links. You should be doing this every quarter. Then you want to make sure that all of your amenities and details are correct. You want to make sure that you don't put any pricing information that is no longer true because people will hold you to it. You want to make sure that your guest capacity is correct. Do not go by the logic of saying, I'm going to say we're really cheap to get people in, then they'll see us and I'll sell them. Don't do that. They won't appreciate that. And don't go by the thought process of saying, I'm going to say we can fit more than we can to get people in, and then they'll change or whatever it is. Just put what it is because people will know if you're trying to bait and switch them. All right. So all of that shows how you can really utilize this investment in these sites to make it work for you and your business. I would love to hear your stories about being listing on these sites, whether they be good or bad. I think the potential for both truly exists. And I can't wait to see the success that you are going to have. Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to be back tomorrow with another episode, and I can't wait to hear from you. If you enjoyed this, please consider leaving me a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening from. Or you can take a screenshot of this episode or simply just share it out with somebody else who may enjoy it. The more you share it, the more this podcast can grow. Thanks, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.